Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back to our Mindset and Motivation Monday show, my favorite show of the week, at least to start the week, that's for sure. And that is because each and every week is a brand new week. It is our opportunity, our chance in order to move forward in life. And I know that it's not always a race to the finish. I'm a big believer. I'm a big proponent of that. I really am. The older I get, the more I realize that the cliche is true. It is about the journey. It is about what we are doing on our path to achieving whatever it is that our heart desires. So many of us have certain career goals. Many of us have family goals, relationship goals, body transformation goals, health goals, spirituality goals, you name it. And they can all be great. And the truth is this, no one should tell you that your goals are good or bad. They're your goals. Now, you're welcome to get advice from other people on the topic. And I think that's oftentimes a good thing to do, because if someone has 10, 20, 30 more years experience than you, then there's no real harm in asking them their opinion. Now, you don't have to take their opinion as Bible. It can be, okay, I get it. This your experience. Mine might be a little bit different. If I took people's advice when I essentially invested my life savings in my first health and fitness location, and then took my life savings and invested that in my second health location, my big functional medicine practice, people would have said, no, don't do it. Don't. And maybe they were right, and they were definitely right for them, for their circumstance. But for me, it was my life's passion. I knew I was putting everything I had into it, and I knew that I wanted to do it. I knew that I could do it. I wanted to make it work. And so, again, we have these different goals, and some of us are just on different paths in life. And some of us might be working towards a financial goal. Some of us might be working to a health-based goal, and that's okay. And remember, your path can change as well. I'll be talking about that a little bit on today's show. So I know that for my early 20s, my teenage and early 20 years, it was really all about me trying to figure out how to get well. So it was a health-based journey. And then it started to shift, and it was saying, well, what I want to do is really share this message with more and more people. And that's grown over the years as well. And it's grown through just different health-based companies. And for me, I know I always wanted to have a family. That was always a goal of mine. I wanted to have children. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to really be able to just to come together as one family unit. I always saw that as something that I did want. And so that's been a priority in my life. And it becomes a priority even more so every single year. And especially as many people going through the pandemic, it's just one of those silver linings could be that it brings the family closer together. Now, I know it has also divided a lot of families too, which of course is not a good thing. But, it comes down to what is your priority right now in life? And for me, of course, it's my young daughters and making sure that they have me and me present, not just me there, but me actually present with them. And that's been a big thing over the holidays as well. So again, what I'm trying to say is whatever journey you're on is okay. And not only is it okay, if you're passionate about it, if it's something that means a lot to you or that you even need to achieve, whether it be health, financial, body transformation, whatever it might be, that you have to make that happen, then good. Then go all in. Make it happen. But today I want to teach you essentially 5 techniques that I've used, with the number one being tracking, in order to make sure that you actually achieve those goals. Because so much of the time we talk a big game, or people talk a big game in general. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, or I should do this, or I should have done that. But it never comes to fruition. And one of the reasons is, and I'll tell you why, let me talk about tracking first. Then I'll talk about why I never used to do tracking. So I'll get into specifics in just a moment, but tracking is simply this. If you don't kind of know what overall tracking is, tracking would be actually writing down and quantifying what you are doing in order to move towards your goals? And then also, are you reaching your milestones? So just about a week or two ago, we spoke about the 12-week year that I follow. And that's so basically trying to live 4 years in one. And it's not always about doing more. It's not about that. I just want people to know it's not about that. It's about living life with no regrets. And you don't get to do the things in your 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s in your 80s and 90s and 100. Like you do things during the appropriate years. So I watched a great video the other day, and it was about understanding that your 20s are really about learning. Like it's about you just made it through university or college. You kind of got all that out of your system for whatever that's worth nowadays. And your time now is to really learn on the job, in careers. And yes, you could definitely start a family in your early 20s. There's no doubt about that. Again, everyone's path is different, but you have so much to learn in your 20s. You're just an adult now. You're not an adult when you're 18. Your mind isn't even really fully formed until you're 25. So you've got some learning to do. So 20s is a great time for that. And again, I don't want to give people their own timeline, but what I'm saying is we're at different stages of life at different ages, and it's nice to be able to take advantage of that should you choose to, right? Starting a brand new career at 50 is amazing if you've already set yourself up for success there. If you're still trying to dabble and just, save for retirement at 55, 60, you can do it, and you should do it, but much more challenging. So that's all that I'm trying to say, is that there is an appropriate time in life as well to do all of these different things. And the nice thing is the more success you have earlier in life, the more you get to play and have fun a little later in life, right? So let's set ourselves up for success, enjoy later in life as well. But tracking comes down to, are you achieving your quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily objectives? And the only way to know that is to actually write that down in a journal, or I'll give you in just a moment exactly what I do and I have inside of my office. So what I want to share with you is this. So I never used to track anything back in the day. And it hurt me massively throughout my 20s. And I'm going to tell you why. I believe the reason is why most people won't track, because, by the way, it takes minutes a day. That's it. I'll give you all the different examples in just a moment. But it takes you minutes a day, so why wouldn't you track? Here's the only reason, and it's the reason I did it. Subconsciously, secretly, you don't believe you're going to hit your numbers, right? That you don't believe you're going to hit your objectives, whatever those are. Weight loss, we'll track that metric, health, relationship, we'll track all those in just a moment. But secretly and subconsciously, you fear not hitting your goals. And if you're qualifying them and quantifying them and you're not hitting them, it's like a dent in the ego. It's such a divide from who you believe you are or should be and from what is actually happening in life. And it stops people then from even getting started. That's the issue. Now, there's a solution to that, but that is the issue I believe I was up against. I think I was worried that I felt I should have been further ahead in life, because I felt like I didn't waste, but I took 10 years of my life to just go all in with health and just try to figure it out. Yes, I was moving forward. Yes, I was still working. I was all those different things. But I felt like then I had to play catch up. And so wherever you are right now, I want you to understand is you don't need to play catch up. You're good right where you are right now. Now is the best time to start for you. And here's the nice thing, is you can take all your other life experiences that have led to this point, and they're going to be a benefit to you because you are living your own unique journey, nobody else's. So first things first, never compare yourself to anyone else. If I work with a lot of health coaches and IHPs, if you're starting a social media channel, you're starting a YouTube channel, whatever it is, don't compare yourself to anyone else. How you grow is how you grow. Who you reach is who you reach. You can do that. And again, I'm on that same journey. We started on YouTube just about a month or two ago, and we're starting at the very bottom. We're starting at 0. And I'm okay with that. I really am. Now, the nice thing is, you won't stay at 0 for very long. You'll continue to grow. And as that snowball rolls down the hill in the snow, it starts to accumulate faster and faster and faster. And that is what happens. It's always most difficult in the beginning. If you're beginning your CBO protocol for your digestive tract, always the most challenging the first 21 days. and then it gets so much easier. So things are always most challenging in the beginning, but here's what I want you to do differently this year. I want you to track right from the beginning. Get in the habit of tracking. Now, I'm taking my own medicine. I am doing the same exact thing this year. I was tracking the first half of last year, and then I just got away from it. Listen, I hire coaches as well. I'm hiring another coach to just say, listen, you need to be my accountability coach. There are certain things and objectives that I want to achieve. I need to make sure that I get them out on time. Let's work together to make this happen because I have just as many excuses as anyone else. These health results accelerators, I believe, are going to be game changers for people. You'll no longer need to meet specifically with me or a lot of other health coaches, whatever it might be, because you're going to have a succinct plan in front of you. And it's going to take the place of reading a dozen different books on the topic. Now, I should be producing these at a much faster rate, but I have good excuses. This has happened, but it's nonetheless, I need to get these done because I'm passionate about it, and I believe it is one of the best services I can provide. Very, very important to me. Now, at the same time, very busy with work. I don't want that to take away from family. What do? I have on my calendar scheduled family time. I don't want it to take away from my workout. So I've scheduled now all of these workouts. So I want to take you through some of this tracking progress right now. Again, it could be a game changer for you. I'm going to give you some specific ways. And again, I think that they're going to help you. I really do. There's almost no downside, only upside, because what gets measured and tracked grows. Like you're putting attention on it. So if you put your attention on something and you're diligent about it, you're going to apply more effort, more action, more thought around it is going to just lead to you doing more of it. If you do more of it, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to find out what doesn't work. Once you stop doing the things that do not work and you put your time towards the things that do work, guess what happens? You get to your goals faster. You get more of what you want in life. So really, that's why I say success is honestly inevitable. It really is. Like you're going to be successful in anything that you do if you put in the thought, feeling, time, effort. Now, so it's inevitable. Now, the goal is though, do you want it to happen in 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, or a year? Like you figure that out based on your timeline and how much effort you want to put into it. You put in an hour a day to your goal. Well, if it's a health weight loss goal, like that's enough. But if it's building a new career, whatever, it might take a little bit more. So you're just going to be slower progress. That's okay versus 8 hours a day, right? So, but that's okay. So I'm going to share you some tips right now. So a lot of people ask then, how often should I track? How often should I measure my results and my goals? Am I on the right track? It's always imperative to look at what is your goal. Okay, that's the big thing. So for example, let's say your goal is to lose weight, burn body fat, transform your body. I've talked about this before, but you don't need to weigh yourself every single day. Now, if you feel it's helpful for you just to do a morning check-in every single morning, remember, it should be the same time of the day, every single day, same clothes or no clothes, whatever it might be. But keep in mind, you don't want to become obsessive about it, all right? Because you also want to understand is that your body is about 2/3 water. It's a little less as we get older because of muscle mass, all of those things. Women and men, slightly different, but just remember, about 2/3 water, or let's just say 60% water. So when we look at that, you have to understand is 1% less water, a little dehydrated, whatever it might be, or holding a little bit more water because you went out to dinner the night before and it was a high sodium meal. Well, if you weigh 160 pounds, well, the scale is now up 1.6 pounds. You might say, well, I gained 1.5 pounds. How did that possibly happen? It's just water retention. That's it. It's just water retention. So we can't get obsessive about it, which is why in our practice, we recommend Monday and Friday weigh-ins. Why? Because you can keep yourself honest. Here's the thing. If you are down 2 pounds by Friday, you're feeling good, you're feeling great. You went from 160 to 158. You're saying life is good. I'm on the right track. I did the right things. Give yourself a little pat on the back. And then Monday you weigh in and you weigh 160 pounds. You say, well, what's going on here? I weighed 158 on Friday. I weigh 160 today. Well, sometimes the weekends can be a little bit dangerous. You gain the weight back over the weekend. And then you know what? By the time Friday comes around, you weigh 158 again. So you lost 2 pounds. So you look at it and you say, okay, I get it. I'm making progress, and I would never know that if I only weighed myself on Fridays or only weighed myself on Mondays. You would not be able to see how the weekends are really affecting your weight, because every week you weigh 158 on Friday, right? Well, why is that? Okay. Well, it's because you gained back 2 pounds on the weekend. So Monday and Friday weigh-ins are crucial. I think they're key, and it allows you not to be obsessive. Plus, you can look at it over the course of a month. You don't need to look at it just week to week. So it's one way to keep progress for weight loss. In terms of health, every day people are like, do I have more energy? Am I going to get a headache today? Do I feel more bloated today, less bloated today? Don't become obsessive. You can't become obsessive. But you can look every single Friday on terms of your health, and you say, how did I do overall for the week? Did I take my supplements with breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the week? How did I do with my nutrition? How many meals did I miss that weren't on point? What did my exercise look like? So you can be honest about yourself every single Friday, and you can just take kind of an assessment. I like the end of the week check-in because the weekends can be a little bit more relaxed. Like for me, it's family time all weekend. I do one thing on the weekend. That's it. I send out my Sunday rewind email. So if you're not a part of that, feel free to just enter your email anywhere at stevencabral.com, and you'll get my once a week email, which is that Sunday rewind. So that's it. I mean, besides that, and again, that takes a half hour. My girls know that it's board games, cars, going on hikes and walks and playing outside and doing all sorts of different adventures, fun things like that all weekend long. So, but again, you can do that end of the week check-in to really see where you're at. For relationships, it's the same thing. On Sunday, take an assessment. What did your relationship look like that week? Whether you're trying to find someone or whether you're trying to keep your relationship great or make it better. Did you have a date night? Did you spend time alone with them? What were your conversations like? How much time did you actually spend talking? Did you do anything nice for them? Did you go out of your way? Did you get them a little gift? Did you write them a nice note? Like anything like that? What did you do? Because if you didn't do any of those things, that's okay. But now they're at the top of your mind, and you can do them that next week. So that's why this tracking of progress really matters. I'll give you what I use in just a moment. What else? Spirituality. Spirituality really probably should be a daily practice, not just a once a week practice, but what are you reading in terms of spirituality? How are you acting in terms of spirituality? You know, do you feel connected? What are you doing to center yourself? Whether it's prayer, meditation, whatever it might be. What are you doing to start the day and end the day that's centering you as an individual, as a human being, as a spiritual-based being? And then in terms of career and finance is the easy one, right? Because not easy always to do, but easy to track. Quantify your numbers. Look at them. Okay, you can do this on Mondays. You can do it on Fridays. Just pick a day of the week. Did you grow this week in terms of whatever your growth looks like? Whether it's your savings account, whether it's your if you're into online business, social media following, like whatever it might be. How are you doing? That's it, and again, what is that leading towards? Are you hitting your objectives? You definitely want to do that weekly. But again, you don't have to obsess over these things daily for the most part. You can track weekly, and you can be honest with yourself. And if you didn't hit your goals that week, you can just say, okay, well, what do I need to do this week in order to get back on track? That's the important thing to look at. So I want to share with you exactly what I use. I use a big wall calendar. It's about, I would say it's about 2 feet by 3 feet, or maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe it's like 30 inches by 40 inches. And it has all the months laid out. And so the first thing I do is I circle all the birthdays, I circle all the holidays, and then I put in my kids' school vacation. So we've got the vacations in there, we've got the family time, the personal time, and then we already know I'm taking weekends off. I'm home for dinner with the family, all those things that I love to do. So, because again, I know that this is the time to do that, right? This is the time I have to do that. My girls are 6 years old and 8 years old. When am I going to do it? When they're 17 years old, I have to do it now. So, but again, I know that I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that. I know not everyone is in that same position. I'm grateful to be able to do that. And then I'm also looking at my 12-week year. This is what I want to accomplish in career-wise, goal-wise within these 12 weeks. And then beside that same calendar, I also have it's a big sticky note. You know what Post-it notes are? Well, they make a big one. They make like a 20-inch by a 30-inch. And I put that right next to it. And I actually, for that that month, I have my workouts all laid out. They're just written out, but it's on my wall, and that's where I now do my workout. Now, I used to go to a gym 4 days a week, but now my workouts are done right in my office. I actually invested in my own little home gym. Nothing crazy. I'll be talking about the bike that I got this Friday. I've already talked about the adjustable dumbbells I got. And for me, worth the investment. Why? It's in my office. My commute to my gym is 5 seconds, right? So it forces me to also see it all day long, and now that's on my calendar. But it's also tracking. I'm tracking that I do my workouts in my home office gym here Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, and then I'm active on the weekend, and I'm going to try to put in a Saturday workout as well, just some cardio. So that's what I'm doing to be able to track that. So I have a wall calendar that I will link up at the show notes today. Just head on over to stevencabral.com/1802. I'll give you the exact calendar I use. And then I'll also link up the giant Post-it notes that you can put on your wall. A lot of people use a mirror and they write on it with, mirror markers, and that's how they do their workouts on glass. Totally fine as well. I don't have that ability in my office, so I can do that. So that's essentially how I track. And then in terms of if you're tracking your business, you can write it just on that big 12-week calendar. On your Mondays, you're writing how your business is doing, whatever it might be. Mark on there for relationships. This is date night. This is whatever. Just make a little note like, hey, I want to leave notes on these days, or like whatever it might be. But there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with being premeditated. Remember, premeditated things that are written down get done. If you're just flying by the seat of your pants, the issue is this. Life happens. Things get in the way. I mean, I could spend all day on email, honestly, and I wouldn't get anything done at all. So you really do have to plan those months, those weeks, and those days, because even though it's planning, that's how you're able to actually get things done. And if you're looking at that calendar and you're checking the things off, it's also what's called a dopaminergic response. You actually feel great by accomplishing tasks. And that does what? It gives you forward momentum. And you want to do more of those things because you see yourself making progress. So I want to give you one more tip today. Really, the only reason why you would not do this is if you set your goals so big in the beginning that you're not able to accomplish them. Set the biggest goals in the entire world you want, but then set a 12-week, a 90-day goal of what you can accomplish over that time and be realistic. You can even exceed it if you want. Set it simpler in the beginning, hit the goals, see yourself making progress, get excited. It leads to that dopaminergic response with dopamine, meaning you want to do more of it. You want to do more of those things. And I just think that that's a great way to do it. And I'll give you one more bonus tip. Never be afraid to recalibrate your goals as you go along. If you feel after this quarter like, hey, maybe this isn't as a bigger priority to me as I really wanted, well, don't be afraid that you can shift. Here's the priority. Remember, a lot of us during this pandemic, had to shift our priorities, and that's okay. You don't forget about the goals that you once wanted. They're still there for you. What you're going to do is revisit those when appropriate. Right now, you're going to focus on the next 12 weeks of what you can do to start this new year to get yourself started off right. And remember, once you start tracking your progress, you know your goal, it's crystal clear, you build out your 12-week year. And again, if you didn't listen to that show, head on back to stevencabral.com/1788. We'll link that up today at episode 1802 as well. And that will tell you how to break down that goal setting. So remember, if you set goals for yourself, you believe you can achieve, or you at least suspend disbelief, you're tracking your progress. It is not an if, but simply a when you will achieve those goals. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. And as always, if this show is helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. Thanks so much for just tuning in. And before you go, I want to share with you right now over at Equa.life, we are giving away our very popular 20-ounce tumblers. Think of these as the EquaLife Yeti. It is your ability to carry around your hot coffee, your hot tea, and keep it hot for hours at a time, or put your smoothie in and keep that smoothie cold for hours at a time. Right now, it is completely free on all all foundational-based nutrition products. For all details as to what all of those products are and see if you qualify, head on over to equi.life, EQUI.LIFE, for your free 20-ounce tumbler. So this, again, is completely free on any qualifying purchase of these daily foundational products. It is absolutely a popular product over at EquiLife. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you use it. Put it to good use. Take care.